go. Here we are. Denise.
Happy pre-New Year's.
Happy pre-New Year. This went pretty seamlessly. I mean, usually when we try to do anything techie, it's quite the ordeal.
And yet, look, only 9 minutes this time.
Yeah. But I mean, it was pretty simple. I sent you a link, you clicked, you were there. I figured out a button or two. You figured out your phone directions.
I thought I looked good sideways. I was like, wow, I look great. Why is Gwen sideways?
I'm always sideways. Well, I'm loving your sparkles and I'm loving the Christmas behind you. I have Christmas here too. It's just it's not right here and reflected. My mirror's behind me. It's all over there. I could probably
let's see
if I could spin you over without knocking. Oh, maybe not. I might have to knock everything off of everything. Well, yeah, it's not. I put my computer on a lazy Susan so I can spin it around if I need to.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
Home Depot. I don't know if I can say that, but the hardware store had a little metal one, so that it slid under there, and so I can spin it around. Normally I could spin it around, but right now I've got a pile of stuff around it, so it's not spinning.
Yeah, I would tell you that I feel like the same. And I was like, oh, I have to get on with Gwen. But right when I got a delivery of two things. One, a friend of mine sent me a gift from a Harry and David's. So I'm like,
Nice.
Surely I can have just a little bit of chocolate right before. And then I'm like, oh, it's 1 o'clock. And then
is that what that spot is right
there? Is that? Oh no.
Hey,
I am so excited. Your book.
You know what? I think you have your camera. I don't know what the techie term is. I think the view of it is, what do they call it?
How do you reverse it?
Yeah, it's not reversed as in which camera you're using. It's the view, like how like if you're on
camera,
Zoom,
local video
mirror.
settings.
It's the mirror thing.
I'm looking here.
Because when you held your coffee cup up earlier, you couldn't read it, and I think it's that mirror thing.
Oh, how about now?
Look at you! You figured it out. Oh, and now she's gone. She got too excited. Well, let's give her a moment to get back here. Oh my goodness, too funny. So, for those of you tuning in, this is Gwen Peterson. I am the founder of Spiritual Communities Network. And Denise and I was just doing a quick introduction. I've invited Denise Flood to do some behind the scenes videos together. We do classes. People see us in our very teacher mode, if you will. And they probably are like, are these people like this all the time? And sometimes. Yeah, we practice what we preach, and sometimes it gets a little wonky. And so when Denise and I connect up, it gets real wonky. So I said, hey, why don't we share our wonkiness to the world? And, there's probably someone out there that could use a good laugh at how crazy two women can be. So yeah, you got overly excited with your buttons and disconnected yourself.
Right when I heard you go, look at you, you are so tech savvy.
Don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right.
So show the coffee mug that you got as a Christmas gift from the family.
Oh yes. Is this not perfect? Yet, despite the look on my face, you're still talking. I
Mhm.
am, people ask me if I'm a morning person, and I always say yes. If I'm up by myself, I am.
Yeah, talking about morning, my morning was kind of interesting. I'm babysitting Nelson, the basset hound.
Oh,
He
oh,
he is a lover, but, basset hounds, you either love them or hate them because they're a tough breed of dog. They're an all hound dog, and, so, yeah, yesterday and, if I can digress into a quick story, the the cat okay, let me go even further back. So, for Christmas, I got because I love puzzles, and so do you, right?
did you
Shelby
see my new puzzle?
no, you'll have to show it
Oh,
to
okay. I'm going to walk over just as we're
okay.
talking because you're going
My
to be like, what?
my new puzzle I got a wood puzzle for Christmas,
Oh,
and it's
fun.
a photo of me and Misty when we were at the London Eye, so it's a view of London looking down on London, so it's really cool, I'm really excited. Shelby comes to bring Nelson over, and he's like, "Oh, you haven't started your puzzle yet," and I said, "No, no, because the cat and him work as a team. The cat gets up on things, and he'll knock things down onto the ground, and Nelson will eat it." It's a game they
Oh, oh,
play,
oh,
and I
so
don't
your
want them
puzzle pieces?
I don't want 'em they've done that in the past, and I'm like, "Not this puzzle, not this one." So, yesterday morning, we woke up to Nelson Misty yelling at Nelson, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And Kitty had knocked a chocolate sucker onto the ground, and
Oh,
Nelson had it
no.
in his mouth, and he had it clamped down, and he was not letting go. N there
Oh,
we
boy.
could there wasn't we tried every trick in the book to try to get him to let it go, and he wouldn't. So I was able to get the sucker stick out of his mouth, and that was it because it was sticking out. I pulled that out, but so I was just like, "Okay, it is what it is," it's not that much chocolate, so he should be okay. And, 3 o'clock this morning, the plastic wrapper came up.
Oh, it was the wrapper and everything. Oh my gosh.
So the plastic wrapper came up this morning, so I
Oh,
was cleaning up
no.
puke. Then
I'm
at 8 o'clock,
sorry.
then at 8 o'clock, no, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, sun didn't come up yet. He had to go to the bathroom. It's like, "Okay." Then at, like, 8 o'clock, I gotta go to the bathroom again. It's like, oh, I really see, I'm a stay up late, sleep in a little later kinda gal, and so 8 o'clock's really not my shtick, and so, needless to say, this was not a morning, and now he's sleeping. Both of them are sleeping.
Well, they got into enough
Like
trouble.
yeah, yeah, they gotta rest up for
I want to
tonight,
show you my, if I can.
Show me that
Wait,
puzzle.
I'm not sure. Okay. I can't see it. Hold on. There,
Oh,
can you,
it's already
it's
started.
huge. I have
It is
started it. This is a poster of the puzzle.
what is it? It looks like
It,
a
it
robot?
is it is a large being made of cats.
A large being made of cats.
Right. I mean,
Okay.
I'm so far, I've got this going. I've got this. I've got, these are the cat parts. Can you see little eyeballs in there? And I'm missing pieces here on the edges, and I don't know. I just don't know. I
How
need
many pieces is that one?
1,000.
Yep, that's what my wood one is too. Yeah, and that looks like it's a lot of the same color. Is it?
There's the tops, like it looks like a pink, like sunset background, and then the snow, and then I don't know whether it's an abominable cat person, like. But I am like posting pictures going, if anybody sees anything that fits here, just don't hesitate to mention it.
You know, I did a blog recently about my fall puzzle I put together and how I do what you do. I think everybody does. In fact, sideline, I got to think of the movie name, and I'll share it with you later. But there's a movie about puzzles, about puzzle competitions.
There's a word, I put it in my post yesterday for people who enjoy jigsaw puzzles.
Yep. Well, this movie is about a competition, puzzle
Okay.
competition, and
Oh,
in there they talk about different ways people come at their puzzle, and I'm a build the edge and build in, focusing on, like, I'll go with the most prominent color, or lines, or there's a method, to doing it, right? So
right.
this fall puzzle I was doing, I was putting the pieces around the side, but I couldn't find, it seemed like I couldn't find all of them. And what was weird about this puzzle is that a lot of the regular pieces have straight edges. So finding the edge to the puzzle was a puzzle in itself. So I just was kind of like, okay, well, I got most of it. I'm just going to start building, and I'm sure that I'll flush out as I go. So I was going along, and I finished the puzzle, and it is missing two. Well, I thought one side piece, and I'm like, dang it, because the dog was over. The cat had been laying on the puzzle, even though I had it covered over with a blanket to try to towel to protect it. I'm like, oh, they did it. The dog ate one of the pieces. I'm like, oh, wow. I know what pieces are missing. I know where they're at. So I stuck it back in the box, put it away for next year. What the heck? It was a fun puzzle. In fact, I'll lend it to you if you ever need a puzzle. Or I can give it to you. But anyway, and it's not that it's missing puzzle pieces, because here's the thing. About a month later, my daughter's cleaning out her work apron, and she's over at Shelby's, and she sends me a text, and it's a picture of my puzzle pieces, not one, but
Oh my
two.
gosh.
It was
Oh
two pieces
my gosh.
missing. And it was funny because from a spiritual standpoint, I was in a place where I was really stressing out and being overwhelmed with the whole book thing, right? And the puzzle pieces showed up. Like, she texted that to me right
Mm.
as I was stressing out, right? I was like, what am I doing? Where am I going with all this? And all of a sudden I get this text with the two puzzle pieces. And I'm like, oh, the puzzle came together. And I'm like, oh, the book's coming together. And what's even funnier is the book's a trilogy, and the second book in the book, the second book of the trilogy is called Puzzle Pieces.
Oh, cool. So that's what we're looking forward to. Now I'm gonna say,
Segue right into that, right?
look what came in my Amazon man delivered it today. I'm
Woo!
very excited and
How's it look?
congratulations.
Thank you,
Oh my
sweetie.
gosh.
I haven't
And
gotten my copy yet. How's it look? Does it look
it's
good?
beautiful. I have not cracked it open, although I took a picture and I put it in the spiritual clubhouse and went, "Hey, anybody want to talk about this?"
I'm very
So,
excited. Thank you, sweetie. Thank
oh
you.
my gosh.
Oh my God.
Thank you. I love being on this journey with you.
Thank you. You're so
Oh,
sweet. You're a sweetheart. Well, I can't wait to see your cat monster person thing when it's put together.
oh my word. It's one that you definitely have to. Thank goodness I don't have. I mean, yes, I miss Charlie, our cat, but he was one of those deliberate, like, oh, you don't want me to touch that?
Mhm, mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
you don't want me up here? Oh, is this precious?
Well, this cat we've got, oh my gosh, he was a kitten. We left the house to go to work. We we come home, and there is glass all over the floor, and it's like, "What the heck?" And it's, like, right at the front door. It's like, "What broke?" He had jumped up on a ledge and threw a crystal vase that we'd gotten when we got married, and threw the crystal vase on the floor, so it was crystal all over. I was like, I was torn between Do I look to see if the cat's okay? Is he bleeding? Did he ingest it? Am I bleeding because I'm standing in glass? And it was a whole mix of emotions.
Yeah, I often think to myself, the difference between cats and dogs is very, very, there's a dividing line there between,
With most, until you get a
yes.
basset hound.
Ah, okay. Nope, have never had one. I've had always very affectionate dogs. My cat, when I was little, was incredibly affectionate. Puffy, hadn't thought of her in years.
Mm.
Um, I've never, I've never seen like Charlie. Charlie thought he was a dog, I swear. Like as far as like he let the people know, like he was our dogs were like, hey, somebody's over. The cat was like, who are you and why are you in my house?
You know what? And people might think, if anybody's even listening to us, people are listening and they go, it's a cat. I'll tell you what, I many years ago, I was my assistant. I worked at an insurance company and I had this assistant and she was going out of town. She says, Gwen, could you watch my cat for the weekend? Scoop the poop and put some food out. Easy peasy. I'm like, all right, all right. She says, just a couple days. I'm like, okay, okay. So I go over. I'd gone over once and met the cat, just, so the cat, should recognize me. So I get there, I walk in, and the cat comes out and he sees me. He lets me come in. I walk into the apartment and he's like watching me. I walk into, it's a typical apartment layout, right? So, the little boxy kitchen. So I walk into the little boxy kitchen where his food's at. And he waits till I get in there and he comes into the opening and he starts growling and hissing at me.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what's the matter? What are you doing? And he lunges at me and he grabs me. You know how like lions, they take you down by going for the tendons in the legs and the ankles so you can't run. This little booger, and I have blue jeans on. He grabbed me and bit. And I have never been bit so hard by an animal in my life. He just, it went into my leg. And I was like, oh my God. I reached down and I grabbed him and I pulled him off, which is the worst thing, right? Because that just rips the flesh because they're not letting go. So I rip him off and I like toss him away and he starts to come at me again. I had to grab the paper towel holder dispenser on the counter and I had to hold him at bay and try and scoot around him and back out of the apartment. I had the nastiest
Oh
bite
my
on my
word.
leg. And I called her and I said, your cat's on its own for the weekend. I was never so scared in my whole life.
Wow.
For a moment there, I was just kind of like, am I going to be taken down by a cat? And I've had cats all my life.
Oh, that's crazy. Yes, that was kind of the way that Charlie was. Although, okay, on the
So
subject
you
of
let your
cats,
cat attack people?
well, he would sit behind them. Like people would come to visit, and he would sit behind them and just be like,
Oh my
we have friends like when we got the two our Mona and Tarzan, when we got them from the pound, we have a friend who is a trainer. And so he said, oh, I'll come over and I'll see what they know and how, because they were rescues. So it's like, great. And he brings his helper with him and the dogs are like, hey, 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 woo. And the cat gets up on the couch and just stares at the helper who was like a young teen. And he was afraid to move. Charlie was just like, and he was just like, It's like, oh, we don't need any help with the dogs. Maybe you want to be a cat whisperer.
Right? Right. Oh my gosh. You know what's funny is, and a couple days coming up to this, us doing our little thing here, my mind was getting active and trying to, wow, let's put this in. What should we talk about? You know how your mind gets active of how shall this go? And I'm like, no, it's me and Denise. We can talk about anything.
We can talk about anything, which I was actually going to tell you about the cat that goes to my Pilates class, which is virtual. But this girl is in New York. She plays an instrument in the Philharmonic, but she has a cat who insists on laying on her shoulders all day long. Like
Oh,
it, and like if she's not up there and like attached to her, she's like, "Roar, roar,"
oh my
like.
goodness.
So I'm like, how imbalanced is that in Pilates when you're like, okay, we'll do the.
Yeah, right, right.
You're
Move the cat
wondering
to
why
the
you have
other
a
side.
stiff neck, like let's like and flip the cat.
Yeah, you'll have to
Oh,
flip
that
the
could be
cat
a new
'cause, yeah,
move.
yeah,
Flip the cat.
flip the cat. Yeah. So, yeah,
Oh.
they're interesting, and then, like I said, with this dog, he's a nut, and I thought I knew,
So did he actually, was he able
dog,
to pass the chocolate ball? Everyone wants to know.
if he passed the chocolate, I guess,
Okay.
the morning routine went smoothly.
There we go. Inquiring minds. I don't want to have to
Like
be
I said,
thinking about
the
that when
first
I wake up in the middle of the night going, did Gwen's dog ever poop?
twice. Twice, remember? That, like, before the sun came up, he had to go, and then again at, like, 8 o'clock, which, before and that's 2 before breakfast, so it obviously has a laxative effect. I mean, it everything held together, but he definitely went. And like I
All
said, at
right,
3
people,
o'clock
if
in
this
the
is more than you want to know, you are on the wrong show.
and then, like I said, at 3 o'clock in the morning, he was, the part that wasn't gonna process, the plastic wrapper came up.
That's lucky. That's lucky. I haven't had that, thank goodness. There are times where I give my dogs charcoal if they've picked something up in the yard, or we're like, so we're going to walk down the street and they think that another dog's passing by and leaving their gifts was a treat for them.
Oh god.
Uh,
Him, down here, we've got the toad issue, right? Those
yes.
poisonous toads. And, he, being a basset hound, second only to a bloodhound with the nose, and only 3 inches off the ground, right? His belly just drags along in the grass. So he's just barely clearing the grass, and so if you take him for walks, you have to be really careful because you'll see the big toads, okay, those cane
Right.
toads, you'll see them,
Right.
and those things can be almost aggressive. They'll, like, sit on the sidewalk and then, like, jump at you. And they're like, "Don't jump at me." But, so I steer clear of the ones, the live ones you see. He can smell out the dead ones, and he'll be,
And they're
going
still
along outside,
potent that way.
he'll be sniffing along, and you're like, "Oh, what," getting your sniff on, and all of a sudden, he comes up, and he's got, you see this leg bone sticking out of his mouth, and it's like, "Okay, let's rush you home and wash your mouth out, you little nut, and watch you for, like, the next hour to make sure you don't start foaming." Just, he's a nut. If anybody's
That's,
considering
yeah.
a basset hound, I recommend visiting the Facebook page called anything, what is it called? Oh, it's out of my brain all of a sudden. Everything but Bassett's, everything about Bassett's. Oh gosh, I'll have to look it up. This I found this after we had Nelson,
Oh
and
no.
it's all these Basset Hound owners, and they post their beautiful, you gotta love those dogs. They're just so gorgeous. They're so beautiful. And so they'll post their pictures on there and stuff, but then they'll put up there what antics their dog has been into, because these dogs get into everything. They do. They're like crazy, crazy dogs. Nothing better than a basset. Nothing better than a basset. And one of the funniest things that pops up on there is you'll get a newbie on there that'll be like, "Hey, I've got my very first basset hound, and I love my oh," and they'll put the puppy pictures up. Oh my gosh, they're just gorgeous. And but my puppy is 7 months old, and he's still not potty trained. I'm really having a hard time housebreaking him. And there's like this cascade of LOLs and the face crying, laughing face, all that. And people going, "You'll be lucky if you get him housebroken by the age of 2." We had our house broke by the first year, but yeah,
So
definitely
you
different.
got Nelson as a puppy.
Oh yeah, like 8 weeks or something, 8-10 weeks.
How old is he now?
We were just talking about that. Misty insists he's 4. I say I think he's
Oh,
a
so
little
he's
older than
young.
that. He's still a
Okay.
young guy. He's a
Yeah.
handful, though. I'll tell you what, basset
Yeah.
hounds are a handful. And then the cat's 14 now, so obviously
Like our Tar's 14 now. And some days his hips aren't as good as others, but
yeah.
he's coming
You know,
along.
I did find some a supplement that kind of helped because his back hips were a little wonky too. But you know what? We changed up his food to where it has no chicken in it at all. That has really helped with his over grooming of his belly. He's
Right.
lost
That's
weight.
important. I've
And his
I've read that a
hips are
lot of
doing better.
dogs do
Cat,
better without
cat,
chicken. Oh, your cat?
yeah,
Oh, because I read that about certain dogs too, but yes.
yeah, the
Oh,
cat, because the cat over grooms to the
right.
point where
Okay.
he like licks his skin off. It's like,
Oh, the
dude,
long hair?
nope, nope.
No. Huh.
But it turns out it was just discomfort, I guess, because of the I guess over grooming is a thing with cats to start with, but his thing happened later in his life, and so somebody had suggested, they're like, it could be chicken, and I was really shocked to see. And you know what? There's this part of me that's going, I really didn't know this was going to be a cat show today. But anyway, somebody had suggested that, you know, chicken, get rid of get a food with no chicken. That is really hard.
Yes. Yes.
99% of cat food has chicken in it in some form, So
Right.
really trying to find one that has absolutely no chicken in it at all is almost that. But I found one, and you know what? It really the he doesn't eat as much, so he's lost some weight, so his hips are better, and
Right.
his grooming issue is a whole lot better. So yeah, there you go.
Mm,
Tip for the day.
there we go. Okay. For more information, contact Gwen at.
Well, we're coming up on a half an hour, so I'm thinking maybe we'll just go ahead and call it a wrap.
Oh,
And
a wrap. Oh, our cats are fun and our. Oh, no, sorry. That's definitely not a wrap.
You're so cute. You're so cute. I wish I could just reach on through and grab you.
Yay.
So, my dear,
Oh,
so we'll do this again.
great. I look forward to it.
And
2023, I am really looking forward to.
yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
for those who are at the still listening to our going on, we will post when the next one is. And yeah, you'll find us around.
I love it. I love you. I love the banter. I was actually re-listening to the last community classroom that we did, that we had such
I'm pulling the plug on you.
awful communication, and it was like, whoop.
I'm gonna turn us off though, so we're right at 30.